Hey yo guys, what's up and welcome back to Two Toe Tags and Metal Reviews. And today we're getting our final review of Impera by Ghost. So we've spent the entire week listening to Impera, and I think I'll hand the floor to TV Fish. I am curious, we haven't talked about this all week.
Yeah, no, not really.
Sometimes we talk about it throughout the week. This week, we haven't said much. Let's go.
It's an album that I think all of you were really looking forward to seeing what we have to say after a week based on what we said last week, where both of us were not too favorable for this album.
True.
After a week, you all said, oh, this will grow on you, this will grow on you. Did it grow on me? Yes. It did grow on me, and I think, first of all, the catchy bug entered my ear, and I'm sure it probably entered yours as well. It's a catchy album.
Yeah.
It just is. That's just how the music is. That's just kind of how this band is. They have riffs that get in your ear and they stay there. Now, obviously, if it's catchy in a good way, that's great. If it's catchy in a bad way, then it's rough. But I think some of these songs are catchy in a good way. And my favorite song throughout this entire album was Watcher in the Sky. Every time that song came on, I'm thinking, oh man, this is great. It's a song that is just great from start to finish. Really good riffs, nothing really bothered me, has a cool bridge, keeps their character well, but it still feels like they're kind of pushing their sound at the same time. Like overall, such a well-rounded song. And I love that, I love the song. Call Me Little Sunshine is actually really good. I remember when we first reacted to it, we were kind of like, okay, like kind of, didn't really feel too strongly about it.
Yeah.
Then the album came out, and I'm like, you know what, actually, it is pretty good. And then after listening to it for a week, I'm like, you know what, this song is really good. And it makes sense why it's the first single from this record. Technically second, because Hunter's Moon did come out first, true. But that was for the Halloween Kills promotion. This was the first single promoting the album directly.
Right.
And I think it's effective that way. I think it still really sounds like Ghost, and that's good. But I kind of felt like for a while that the first half of the album was stronger than the second half. And I felt like after Watcher in the Sky, it started to slip. Dominion is still pointless. Why is that track there? Honestly, it really hurts the flow of the album. Because Watcher in the Sky is a great introduction to the second half of the album. Based on its sound, it's effective.
Okay.
But if you have Dominion right after, you kill all the momentum that song created, and then 20 starts. So that song just is so completely pointless. Why is it there? And it never really adds anything. At the very least, with Bite of Passage, that might be 30 seconds, but at least it doesn't really annoy me. I just listen to it like, okay, it's there, it's fine. It's over before I really notice it's even happening. And that's okay, I guess. But, 20s is a song that I like. It has really good riffs, really good almost everything. I just don't like the chorus of that song. I just don't like how the voice sounds. I don't like that crowd vocal that happens. It annoys me every time I hear it. But other than that, it's a pretty strong song, I will say.
Okay.
Darkness at the Heart of My Love starts off great. The beginning is really, really nice. As soon as I hit the first chorus, it's not nice anymore. I don't know. It just kind of rubs me the wrong way. Even though they do come back, that's kind of the sound that I liked at the beginning of the song. Obviously, is the verse sound, and I like that.
Right.
But it's just hearing it as just, I don't know, whatever pop ballad just kind of put me the wrong way. Griftwood was good, but the thing with Griftwood is that I kept forgetting it, and I don't know why. Every time it came on, I'm like, yeah, this is pretty good. Oh, it's Griftwood, cool. And then I would completely forget what it sounded like. Like right now, I'm thinking about it, and I'm kind of barely holding on to what it sounded like, because at one point today, I thought I would just played it back in my head after hearing it, just to be like, okay, I want to remember this. This was pretty good. So I don't know why that was happening. And then Bite of Passage, Respite on the Spitalfields is good as an ending track. I still believe that, but it's not like the track is super duper mind-blowing. But it does do one thing which is really cool, is that near the end of the song, it plays the same guitar riff that's in the intro track, Imperium, and that's really cool. Creates a bookend to the album, and I think that's really clever. But overall, it felt pretty strong. I mean, Kaiserion grew on me. I started to not mind that it sounded the way it did as a Ghost song, because it's just a good song. That female scream in the beginning, I still don't like it.
Is it a female?
I thought it was. I don't know.
I thought it was just Sophie.
whatever it was at the
I
beginning,
don't know.
whatever it was at the beginning, I didn't like it. But other than that, it's a great song. Spillways grew on me a lot just from its catchiness.
Spillways.
It's a weird name, I guess. But yeah, I guess that's kind of the main thing, though, is that the first half kind of feels stronger, but the second half isn't terrible. It's just weaker.
You know, you said a lot of very interesting things, and a lot of it I'm gonna basically 180 on you. Starting with Watcher in the Sky, that's my least favorite song on the album. I just did not care for this song at all. Whatever, I'm not gonna go into too much detail about that. So Ghost does this thing I've noticed before, and I'll give you a couple examples, and you already said one, where the riff in Imperium is the same riff used on Respite of the Spitalfields. They do that same riff kind of thing. They did this on the last album with Ashes, used the same riff that's in Rats. So this is the thing that they do, and that what it's doing is it's like a prelude or like an ominous, like, hey, this is something that's going to come later on, right? Dominion, not a pointless track. Sounds like a pointless track. What does Dominion do? Dominion's an omen or prelude, whatever you want to call it, for 20s. It sets up 20s very nicely. Now, it doesn't set it up in a way where it bleeds into it, but what it does is it introduces horns. You get the horns in there, and then 20 starts, and you got the big band going with all the horns and the band playing and everything like that. When I kind of put that together, those two pieces together, I went, okay, that makes Dominion way more purposeful on the album. Does that mean I like Dominion? I still think it could have been left off. It's not imperative. It doesn't need to be there. But that's the idea behind it, is just to kind of plant a little seed like, hey, something's coming. Here's some horns for you. Be prepared. It's going to get bigger. And the way I learned to appreciate it was imagining it live. Like if I was going to see a Ghost show and it opened up with Dominion playing, the curtain's still up, and then all of a sudden the curtain's dropping and 20s is the first song that's playing. Wow, what an explosive start to a show that would be. I think that would be sick.
Perhaps then you could even reorder things and make that the beginning of the album. Like, I feel like Dominion could have been maybe a little bit better as an intro track for that reason. However, I do think Imperium is just a better sounding intro track. Dominion doesn't...
That's fine. Okay, yeah, I was picturing it more like if this was like maybe like a mid-album or a mid-concert thing.
Or like after an intermission.
After an intermission, yeah, something like that.
That would make sense. Especially because of how long their shows are. They could do that and make it work.
Exactly. So Call Me Little Sunshine was kind of my highlight track off my first impression because I was most familiar with that song. I still like it. It kind of died down on me a little bit. Griftwood, I actually do like that song quite a lot. It's got really good vocals in it. I like the vocal inflection on some of the words, the cadences on some of the words that Tobias is singing. It just stands out a little bit more than some of the other songs, so I like that aspect of that song. It was a standout track for me, Griftwood. Spillways. I want to talk about Spillways because a lot of people are like, I've seen tons of comments about Spillways. Like, Spillways is definitely a fan favorite song. It grew on me. I do like the song, but I laughed my fucking ass off listening to this song because I discovered this thing that happens, and people are gonna think I'm crazy, or maybe not. Maybe they'll go listen to it and they'll say, "Hey, Vile's right. This is hilarious." But before each chorus, like the chorus is like through the spillways, da 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 da, right? The first time he says it in each chorus, he just says, spillways. He says, spillways. And I feel like an idiot just like trying to talk about this right now, but honestly, it cracked me up every time because his first through the is just, and seriously, if you go back and listen to it, and once you hear it, it's fucking hilarious. And that gave me so much joy through the week. Once I heard that, I was like, yes, spillways again, and I'm listening to that part, and he does it, and I'm like, ah! So funny. So that song gave me a lot of enjoyment just based off that alone. My top track though, by far, and it's not even close, is 20s. 20s is the best song in the album. It just has so much great energy. I love the chorus, it's awesome. I really like this groovy beat where he's got the snares on the offbeat and then on the 4. It's this really kind of, I want to say funky, but that might not be the right word. It's honestly really the only really truly enjoyable, thoroughly enjoyable song in the whole album. There's one part about it that confused me a little bit, and that's the lyric where he says, I'm number one, you're number two, you've got a lot of God's work to do. It's like a weird voice that comes in. I don't know if that's him or who's doing that part or whatever, if it's maybe a clip from a movie, I don't know.
Maybe there's some more implications there.
Maybe there is, I don't know. But I love 20s. 20s is really good. Very early on in the week, I added it to my playlist. I was like, oh, here we go.
I remember, see, we didn't talk much about it this week, but I remember like early, you messaged me just like sigh and then shows me that you added it to your playlist. Because you totally were dumping on it last week, right?
I was, yeah. So, but here's the thing, like you mentioned a point, it's catchy. That whole album's really catchy, but is it good catchy or is it cheap catchy? And I've done this a dozen times on this channel before where I use the Taylor Swift analogy. You go to the mall one day, you walk around, your Taylor Swift song comes on, you don't care about it, but on your way home driving in the car, you're like, oh yeah, Taylor Swift, and you start singing the song in your head because it caught you. Does that mean the song's good? Does that mean you like the song? I don't think so. So I'm listening to this album throughout the week, and these songs are getting caught in my head, but is it just like cheap jump scare kind of tactic, like where it's just hooking me because it's catchy? Or am I actually starting to like this stuff? I really couldn't figure it out, other than 20s and Spillways I do enjoy and Griftwood I do enjoy. But the rest of it is like, it's there, I'm grooving with it, it's in my head, the riffs are, memorable, but I don't know if I like them really.
Well, I guess with that being said, we can get to ratings now?
Sure, I'll go first. So, I didn't like this album as much as Prickel, okay? Let me just put that out there, and I gave Prickel a 7, so just base your expectations here. I think it's a decent album. I don't think there's anything particularly wrong with this album. It's just a little bit too much of this poppy, in-your-face, arena rock, catchy, listen to me kind of music. It's too much for me. It's gonna get a 6 from me. I just, honestly, just based on other scores I've given, and how much I really enjoyed it, I can't give it much higher of a score. And I know that's going to piss people off, but whatever.
Well, I'm going to start this, I guess, by saying a similar thing. I also didn't enjoy this as much as Prickel, and I believe I gave that a toe tag. And I want to clarify something based on something I said 4 years ago in our Prickel review. Because I said back then that Prickel was better than Meliora, and then I listened to Meliora again and I realized nothing is beating that album from this band. At this point, Meliora is kind of just the pinnacle of this band's sound.
Yeah.
How does this compare to other albums? It's still a strong one, but I do feel like the direction they decided to go, for some songs, worked well.
Yeah.
For others, it didn't. And it's still a good, strong album, and it's catchy, and there are songs that are good. It just feels like they kind of went a little bit too far with what they were going for. So I'm gonna give this album it's tough, but I guess I'll give this one, I'll match it with a 6. It's a good album. It's straight up a good album.
Yeah, so that's double 6s. That's probably going to tick a lot of people off because a lot of people really love this album. And you know what? I want to point out something that one person said, and I think this is a really good point to make. All these songs would sound great if you were shuffling a Ghost discography. These would all fit in just fine, but as a whole album, it just doesn't quite hit the mark. But yeah, that's it. Double 6s. That's what you're getting this time. That's it for this review, guys. So leave a comment down below and let us know what you guys think about it. What are your favorite songs after listening to this album for a whole week? Has your opinions changed at all? Like it better? Like it not as much? Let us know down below. That's it from us for now. I'm Miles Salt.
I'm TV Fish.
Blah, 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 blah. See you next time.